remember once we said, and we always heard about this place, Avini. And so we said, well, it's up there someplace. Let's go look for it. And so we made lunch. We made some rice balls, and we had a couple of cans of Vienna sausage, and put them in our pockets, and we walked up Kohala. And when we got to the forest line, there was a forest ranger up there in his truck, and he said, what the hell are you kids doing up here? I mean, we went to the end of the cane fields, not a forest, and Avini is this way, so we're going to just take a left and go to Avini. And he said, where are you guys going? And we said, we're going to Avini. And he just laughed, and he said, you going where? He said, yeah, you know, look, you got to go to he said, kids, you better turn around and get home right now. And he would have said, you go home right now. You're not going to go to Avini. It's too dangerous, it's too far, it's going to take you days. And you don't know where it's at. You're going to get lost. So go home right now. And he was right. He was right. But we still had the Avini, we'll find it. We had that attitude, and he changed our minds. Yeah. Or if you went fishing, you ate that was what you ate. It wasn't just for fun and games. It was there for fun. Yes, it was fun, but it was also food. How nice to bring home some fish. And so, Lucas, that's part of my story. Part of it is sad too. When my mother left, and when I was forced to go to Kamehameha. But Kamehameha did something to me too. It taught me the letters. I wish I had kept those. It was a turning point in my life when I read those letters from my classmates, personal letters, seeing how proud they were, that I was good enough, that I was smart enough, that I could do just as well as anybody else. And they were right. They were right. And Lucas, I was really honored a few days ago, when I got all these certificates. I can't reach that envelope. But I'm just going to close this interview real quickly and shortly, but I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to make a point that my friends in Kohala, I got this certificate from Congress. This is Kohala with a commendation, a message of commendation from Congress. And then I got another commendation from the city council and from the mayor. And believe me, Lucas, I didn't expect any of that. My friends knew that's not me. That I'm not Fred Cachola to get certificates. I'm Fred Cachola because I love Kohala. And I guess when you're 87 years old, and you do all the things you do, like learning the history and talking to the Kohala Kupuna. I wish I had all your equipment. I wish I had all your knowledge 40, 50 years ago, because I would have been able to record the kind of legacy you're trying to do, but in a much better way. All I could do was listen and write. And I did. And that's how I learned about the Kamehameha birthstones. That's how I wrote the law and the resolution that saved those stones. It became part of Lapakai State Park. Why? Because they were in weeds. When Iloke died, nobody took care of the birthstones. And I had a dream one. And I dreamt that this man who had a museum was collecting stones, and that he had actually stolen the stones and kept it at his museum. And I said, that cannot be. And I went back to Kohala and I found them, and they were in a bunch of weeds. And I said, we cannot let this happen. And so I wrote a resolution, got it passed through the Hawaiian Civic Clubs, took it to the legislature, and they liked that resolution so well they made it into a law. So I helped to write the law that saved the birthstones of Kamehameha. And I belonged to a group called the Hikai. 7 of us, again, I'm not trying to brag, but just 7 of us who love Kohala so dearly. When we saw Kohala being bought by millionaires, we saw the first millionaire that was going to turn 17 acres between Mahokona and Kauai into his own Shangri-La, like it was he had in South Africa. We said, we're going to stop this guy. He's not going to do it. Why? Because there were millionaires who had bought other properties and they were waiting to be able to build on there. We said, we stop this guy, we'll stop the others, and we did. We filed a contested case. We challenged his permit, challenged the process. And in the end, we had a 1-week hearing in the courthouse here in Kohala. And the court officer was ready to tell him his permit was going to be denied. Before he did that, he quit. He spent $500,000 trying to create his Africa Shangri-La. So now when you drive, Lucas, from Mahokona to Kauai, and you don't see one building, right? Not one building. It's because the people of Kohala are not going to let it happen. And we're going to challenge anybody who tries to build. So when we stopped this millionaire, his name was Jonathan Cohen. And we met with him early. We tried to persuade him, go build somewhere else. Go mark off the road. Don't stay right on the coastline. Don't build your Shangri-La on 17 acres. Please, go somewhere else. He refused. He had architects from Boston. He paid his archaeologists $40,000 to lie. His septic system was going right into the ocean. His archaeologists called this grave a fishing shrine. And we contested everything they said. And he left. He left. And we stopped him. Then this other millionaire was waiting. When he left, he left. We took over his property. And then there's some place called Cachola. They had acres and acres of 3-acre lots ready to sell. They left. So yes, you can thank 7 of us for saving that coastline, because it wasn't easy. And again, people like Tony Worthington, Gail Byrne, Joe Carvalho, Mike Isaacs. In the past 10 years, we've raised over $20 million from public funds, and we saved over 1,000 acres of coastline in Kohala. And we're going to try to keep it like that. We're saving historic sites, Kapanaya, Hapu'u, Mahokona, all these places. Mahokona was going to be a resort development. Over. Pow. Never. You know. So all these rich people trying to come into Kohala and make it like their own private suburbs. We're not going to let that happen as much as possible. Now, some of it may be happening, we couldn't do it all. But along that coastline, isn't it nice, Lucas, to drive 10, 12 miles and see nothing, right down to the ocean. You go to Maui, you cannot do that. There's not one place on, you go Kaanapali, from Lahaina to Honolulu, you can even see the ocean. There's so many buildings sticking up. Go to Oahu, my goodness, it's a lost. Oahu is becoming a suburb of Los Angeles. I was down at the airport hotel when I went to the hospital to treat this cancer in my throat. Anyway, as I was at the airport hotel, I told my wife, you know, I was outside. I said, this place looks like Los Angeles. It sounds like Los Angeles, and it smells like Los Angeles. I said, oh my God, let's go home. When I go to Honolulu now, look at what, we have 6 acres here. Yeah, you got 3 in the front, 3. I got 12 acres up in Kohala. It's so nice. I can see Mauna Kea. Yeah. I can go down to a beach and I can actually walk in. I don't have to step over bodies. Right? I can drive 12 miles and see an open coastline. That takes work, that takes determination, but again, I felt very honored, Lucas. I felt very honored. And so that's part of my story. I know this has been a little long, but you know, when you're 87 years old, you live a lot, so you got a lot to say.